Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. Today what I want to try or film is it feasible to root or start some scions to root and produce some fruit trees. Here we have a bunch of apple trees and a bunch of pear trees. So these are the pears and these are the apples. I've seen a lot of videos on YouTube saying that you can root hardwood scions and produce fruit trees from it. So I did my test. Probably it's not the proper way to do it, but you can leave a message or send me an email. Just tell me if I'm doing it properly or not, and we'll follow through with the results in a couple of weeks. And later on at the end of the video, I'll show you a couple of trials I did. One of 2 weeks ago and one of last week. So I'll show you my procedures and how I do it and how it's done. So we start with plastic cups. Any kind of plastic cups. It's just a way how to hold the medium and make sure the scion stays inside and have a humid place to root. First of all, we'll have to make it so it drains. So the way I do it is I take this pen and I heat it up, and while heating it up I'm able to do the holes in the cup. Normally 4 or 5 holes, just to help for drainage, so she doesn't get too wet, not to promote mold. So this is the way I do it, the fast and easy way and cheap way, instead of buying all the greenhouse equipment. This is what I do. So we'll do 4 cups. And the way I do it, I try different ways. I put 3 in each cups, or 2 or 4. You can put how many you want. It doesn't matter. I think it doesn't matter. The only thing I wanted to figure out is will they root or start rooting to produce a tree. So this is how the holes are made. Between 5 and 6 holes in them. And after that, I fill them up with sand. It's fine, coarse sand. I tap it in the bottom, just to make sure it's not too loose. It's pretty compact, but still loose sand. Another cup here. If I need some more, I'll fill them up with my spare cup that I have here. I like to fill them up pretty much close to the top. What I heard on YouTube is better to use sand than compost or other kinds of material, or even dirt. I think the reason that they were mostly saying it's help not to promote mold. So sand will help not promote mold, and it's supposed to be easier for everything to start root. but we'll see and try it. We'll try it. Product that I use is it's a plant food stem root stimulator. It's called number 3, and when you look in the back, and number 3 is for hardwood. These are all hardwood cuts, so they're this. We'll have 2 kinds, like I mentioned in the beginning, and one is apple and the other one is pear. And they're all saying, everybody's saying to put, always put pieces that are a pencil width in it, or a pencil size in it, and not too small like these small sticks. So we'll try them all. Big or small, we'll try them all. So let's start. First of all, what we need to do, I need to poke some holes in it. The reason I'm poking some holes is to make sure that the stick doesn't have any resistance going in the soil, and that the root stimulator that I've put on the bottom of the stick still stays on the stick. So we'll do 2 cups of apples and 2 cups of pear trees, and we'll try different size. So we'll start with the apple. Like you see, this is a stem from a year's growth. People say to cut it in half, leave 2 nodes on it, or what I'll do, we'll try different things. So since we have a dried section, we'll cut. And as you can see, she's green inside. She's still a healthy stem because she was stored in a proper way. They also say to just rub it a bit with a knife up to the node. Not try to damage the node, but this will help to promote the root. So we'll try to do that. We'll do that with all the stems. So after that, you put some root stimulator powder on it. We put it in. We tap it. Do the same with the others. See, I have some better ones. And it's always a good thing to put them upright too. Make sure that you have your stems on the right position or the right way, so the nodes are facing up. Because if you put it on the other way, she won't grow. As you see, she's all green, so she's still good. We'll scratch her pretty aggressively. Put in root powder. Tap her in so she stays tight. Put another one here. I have a bigger stick here, so we'll try this one. Make sure to always also you have to make sure that your tools are clean. So prevent contamination and all that. So I have an apple tree done for trial. So what we'll do, I think this one's good. We'll try it with a bigger stick. Not sure if this one is a year growth, but just for fun, we'll try her. Try if she works. Just put our chances on our side, so well, we'll try it. So she's facing up. Have another big one here. Scratcher two. Can't wait to see the result of these. Like I mentioned at the end of the video, keep following. At the end of the video, we'll see a couple of trials I did a couple of weeks ago and one last week. And we'll see the results so far that I had with those trials. I'll take this one here. She sees healthy, if she sees green. There you go. So my apple trees are done. So now, since we're done with the apple trees, we'll put them away. This thing's getting a little bit messy, but hey, you rarely do something that's not messy. So, okay, so let's start with the pear trees. Have a small one here. We'll do like the apple trees that use different kinds, big and small. I have a small here, small one. She's a last year growth. So I'll do the same thing, I'll scratch her. Like everybody's saying you need to do. Like I mentioned, I have, or if I didn't even mention, I have zero experience with this. I have no experience with all, so this is my first year trials. First year doing this. So I have no idea if it's even feasible. So all this is based on reviews, on what I saw on the YouTube channel, on YouTube, from other people doing it somewhere else. So am I doing it right? Am I doing it wrong? We'll find out in a couple of weeks or a couple of months. I'll keep you guys updated all the along the way, just to see if they started rooting or not, and if they're producing trees. Took a bigger piece, like everybody mentioning, or some people are mentioning, having them a size of a pencil. There's one, the second one. Trying to find nicer pieces. Took one smaller one. The reason I'm taking bigger ones and smaller ones, like I'm mentioning, is this a myth or reality? So I'm going on what people are saying. They're saying taking pencil size. They're saying make sure it's a year's growth. Make sure it's green. So I'm checking everything. So that's why I'm putting smaller ones and bigger ones, just to see if the myth is real or not. So I have one here that I'll cut in two. By cutting two, I think it's gonna give me two pieces. So we'll see. So I scratch them pretty aggressively. Put in the hole. Second piece. Like I mentioned, make sure always put them upright. Because if you're not putting it upright, the chance of it succeeding is pretty low or glim. The truth is, it won't work at all. So a scratcher. Put her in, just like that. Last piece. Put a last piece in. There we go. Good thing is to tab them pretty firmly. Make sure they won't move when we've got transportation. Close all my stuff. A good thing to do is to mark your containers with the kind of cyan you have in them. So here I'll put pears. Oh, I just lost my pen. I got one here for pear. Second one for pear. I'll do the same thing with the apple one. What kind of apple it is? Probably your guys are asking me. I have no clue. When I took the scions on the trees, I didn't take the time to mark what kind of apple. But the pear trees are all barked. So all my 4 containers will be identified. So if one grows, I'll know which kind is it, apple trees or pear trees. So here we have different kinds of pieces of stick. So we have medium one, pencil size, smaller ones, very huge one, the size of the marker here, and smaller ones. So it's going to give me a good example if it works or not. So after that, we'll need a base to put in it. Okay, now the kind of container that I use is this kind of container. And the reason I use this container is it's easier to water them. So your glasses or containers that holds the stems don't stay in the feet always on the water. there was grooves in them. So the majority of the water goes in the groove, and the extra needed water that the plant needs seeps up to the top of the cup to keep it moist. We had to make sure they're all compact, so always try to, if you're moving them, keep them the soil compact, press on them so they don't move while you're moving them. What I've seen on other videos, there's different what I seen on other videos is their YouTube videos. There are different ways that people are trying to promote these. Some of them are putting Gladlock bags over on top of them to keep the humidity in so they don't dry. Some people put glasses like this just to try to make it like a greenhouse, so she stays warm and humid. But I tried it, and what I found is it promotes too much mold. Not just the mold on the dirt, but on the stem too. Since I'm using sand, there's no mold that's being developing, or there's no mold that's developing on top of the sand because it's not organic. But on the stem it's full of mold. So I took the tops off and let it grow by itself just to see what would happen. So what we're going to do is I'll change this to my stand where there's a lot of heat, and where I had the other trials, and we'll show you what I did last week and what the results are for 2 weeks ago too. So we'll see what we have, and we'll do follow-ups on these. I'll bring you along in the next couple of weeks to see if they root or not, or just the buds have popped, and we'll go on from there. So let's go place these on the stands. So guys, this is where I put my experiment, where I want to try to start my scions to root and see if they'll make some fruit trees. This is my call it a rack where I start my seedlings for my summer gardens. So and right next to it there's my wood stove to keep up the heat and warm us up too during the winter. So let's go and see and take a look. So this is what I started 1 week ago and 2 weeks ago. Okay, so they're all in sand. How I differentiate what was done 2 weeks ago and 1 week ago? When there's 3 in it, 3 sticks, it's 2 weeks ago. When there's 4 sticks, it's what was done last week. So in here I had different kinds. As you see on the label, it's an apple rootstock, 23rd of December. This is an apple, 2 weeks ago. I have pears, I have plum, Tolko. I have a lot of apple trees. And let's see what came out of it so far. So here, from 2 weeks ago, I have an apple tree that's growing, or it's leafing out. The bud came out and it's leafing out. And back here I have plum trees that I did 2 weeks ago. They're starting to leaf out. And have, sorry, not plum trees, but pear trees. Same here, I have pear trees that started leafing out. Doesn't look too good for the rest. So all plum trees and apple trees beside this one here didn't do squat so far. So this is the result. So we'll leave it there. I think I'll leave it there until the end of January. Keep them watered up. So just to see if some start budding later on. And what I did is with the one I had successfully not rooted but leafed, I put in a different change, and I put different soil. So I did an experiment. These are all pear trees, and when I took them out of the first cup, there weren't any roots on it, but they started leafing out. I put a lot more root stimulant on them, and I put them in a little mix of compost and dirt, and it's in a medium, so it start growing. So, and with 2 of them, I put some sand on top, just to see if mold would start on the one with just dirt, and mold wouldn't be promoted, or there will be some sand. As you can see, these are 2 weeks old. They're leafing out, but are they going to survive? That's going to be the question. It's the question I ask myself. Probably everybody else are asking themselves, is it going to work, or it's just a myth? We'll see. So while passing here, just to show you the temperature. Right now the temperature is over 80 degrees Fahrenheit and 27 degrees Celsius. Humidity is 46. It's a little bit low, but I rather have it low than mildew being built up. So these are all what we did a few minutes ago. These are all the apple trees and pear trees, and what you see on the gray bottom, it's not mold. It's the stuff that we put on it to promote, stimulate the roots. So as you can see so far, the best results right now are pear trees and 1 apple tree out of all of it. So all the pear trees that I put in it, they all started to bud out and produce some leaves, but not too convinced that they're producing roots so far. So I'll keep you guys updated, and we'll take a look in a couple of weeks, and we'll take one out just to see if they're rooted. So if you guys like my channel, please subscribe, hit the like button, and leave a comment. See you guys soon.